Happy Monday, multifamily investors. You know what time it is. I'm reviewing last week's sales of multifamily in the 5 counties that I watch. There are always going to be stuff that's off market and things like that too. This is just kind of what pops up in MLS to give you an idea, to track inventory, to see prices. And last week we had 9 closings ranging from 490 to 1.2 days on market. You can see, anything from basically the first few days to 3 months, which isn't still super long. But most of these are going to be duplexes. This one was a newer fourplex, but we'll dive into this. I'll show you what was sold. And let me get back to the first one. Starting at 490 in Spanaway, which is just south of Tacoma. They had multiple offers received on this one. It was built in 79. It was on septic, but good size, 2-bed, 1-bath units, and went for full price. So there you go. Another one in Everett was listed for $515, sold for $500. Kind of a smaller property, I believe it was. Only 600. See the difference in square footage? They're both 2-bedroom, 1-baths. But the property in Spanaway was much bigger than these in Everett. This is 1941, so we would kind of expect smaller size for that age. Then I had this nice duplex I was watching. I wish I would have had the right client for this because I really felt like this was a potential good property. Puyallup, downtown, townhome style, good size, 884 square feet. There was some upside on one of the rents. These make great owner-occupied opportunities. Built in the 70s. Had a new roof about 5 years ago, and it was on the market though for well over a month. It had a couple price. I think it started at $580, and then when they dropped it to $530, then they ended up getting a price of $540. This one sold right away too in northeast Tacoma, which is almost over by Federal Way, across the water from downtown Tacoma. It was listed for $500. Multiple offers received. Went for $562, and they were both 2-bed, 1-baths, 841 square feet. Built in 85. Yeah. This one in Bremerton was a unique property. I didn't think it was all that great, but it went again pretty quickly. Over asking, $525, $565. $525 was a list. The sales price was $565. Most of these were all conventional buyers, by the way, too. So no VA or FHA, but I'm guessing still they have to be house hackers. I don't know how they're making them work unless they're putting huge down payments as investors. It had a 3.2 and a 2.1, built in 1980. Good size units too and stuff, but I didn't like the property in general. But just because I don't like doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Then we had this fourplex in Tacoma under 800,000. Wow, I haven't seen that in a couple of years. Now again, keep in mind it's East Tacoma, so do your own research, and you'll know why these probably trend a little lower than other parts of Tacoma. They're all 2-bed, 1-bath, 775 square feet, built in the 80s, 86. They started at 820. Actually, I think they started higher. This had a price reduction. Yeah, I think they started at I want to say 890, dropped at 820, and ended up going for 757. And the seller still gave the buyer like a $15,000 credit towards closing there to help probably pay down their closing costs and preserve some cash. So it was more like a 740 deal. That's cheap. I mean, that's cheap for what we've seen for fourplexes lately. And this is another one I liked. It's not a true fourplex. It was 2 duplexes on the same lot. They were all 1-beds, but verified with the seller that the housing vouchers in that area for Bremerton for 1-beds had gone up to $1,600. So you could bump all these up to $1,600, and it was already saying a 7.5 cap. I think that is probably one of my favorite purchases I've seen lately at that price. And then this one in Seattle listed for $835, sold for $827, just a duplex in West Seattle. And then this newer, multiple offers received, went seller financing actually, probably because the buyer knew they were in a competitive situation, so they offered $150 over asking and asked the seller if they consider seller financing, which they did. So kudos to them. They're huge, 3-bed, 1.5 bath, 1,100 square feet. I guess that's not huge, but ranging from 16 to 1,800. But it was built in 2015, so you're not going to have much deferred maintenance on a property like this. It has sprinklers now. That was probably a pretty decent pickup. We'll just scan through the pictures here so you see. Nice looking property. Low wall heaters, plank floor, vinyl plank flooring. Obviously, it's gonna have a new windows, stacked washer dryer. There you go. So anyway, 9 investors made acquisitions last week here in the 5 counties that I'm watching, and I know a lot of you are scratching your head. How are they making these work? Well, I'm fairly confident most of these are house hacking, owner-occupied buyers. Could be wrong. Don't know it. I don't know the buyer of each one of these exactly, or the terms, but my guess is a lot of these are house hacking, because unless they're putting a huge down payment, tough to pencil. We need some calibration in the market, right? Prices to adjust based on what the financing costs us investors to make a purchase. So unless you're all cash, I know it's tough. We just have to look at these deals and maybe need some more down payment to make them pencil. Anyway, that's last week's sales. Thank you for watching.